Julie, thanks very much for joining us at COP26. It'd be interesting just to get your perspectives on the last couple of weeks at COP.
It's been a busy couple of weeks, and I think it's hard to tell exactly what's going to come out of this COP26 from a geopolitical perspective. There'll be negotiating right to the wire, but we have definitely seen a number of encouraging signs that both business community, finance community and nation states and governments are all inexorably increasing their climate commitments, both on climate mitigation and climate resilience and adaptation.
And we're here on the day focused on cities, regions and the built environment. How can investors have a real impact on sustainability in cities?
I would say huge opportunity. This is a really, really important asset class, real estate and cities and construction and buildings and infrastructure, and these are really, really important assets. So we launched a whole life carbon roadmap for the UK built environment this morning, and that's really a science-based trajectory to net zero for the sector as a whole by 2050. And there's a huge amount in there that demonstrates that there's real opportunity to take carbon out of every stage of buildings and every stage of infrastructure, life cycles and so on, both operational and embodied carbon. Really big slug of that is homes, of course. Some investors and particularly banks are starting to really mobilise finance around the greening of homes, and we need to see a lot more of that. But for investors that own or invest in non-domestic assets and infrastructure, there's a huge amount to be done to really sort of drive out that embodied carbon. So we're really excited about that. We think it provides a final sort of decarbonisation pathway that all subsectors within the built environment can then get behind, whether it's investors or contractors or designers. Everyone's got a role to play, and the really crucial bit is really around collaboration, radical collaboration between different bits of the supply chain, without which we're just not going to unlock some of those carbon efficiencies. So that's just one example of what we've done here on Buildings Day.
And in terms of your perspective, Julie, I suppose, are you now more positive than before you came to COP in Glasgow?
I am more positive, yeah. Like I say, the jury's out on the whole outcome, global outcome of the conference. But without a doubt, we have seen and we've been successful in putting buildings, the built environment, right front and centre as a major solution actually to the climate crisis. We've done that through virtual exhibitions in a virtual pavilion called buildbetternow.co, which has had thousands of viewings and people coming to it, and that's really important. So a lot of people don't get to come to COP26 in person, and they can go to those sorts of spaces and really get inspired and get educated on the role of buildings from all around the world. We've got fabulous examples, so definitely I would encourage people to look at that. But also we've seen lots of other buildings and built environment related announcements. Just today we've seen many more signatories to the World Green Building Council Net Zero Carbon Buildings Commitment, which now looks at whole life carbon impacts, not just operational. So that's really encouraging, and it's mainly voluntary. So that's really encouraging. And we're seeing more and more businesses sign up to the race to zero. Something like $1.2 trillion of assets, real estate assets under management, signed up to some form of net zero target that's 1.5 degree aligned. Those are just some examples of the reasons why I'm hopeful that this is really starting to sort of take hold within the marketplace.
Thanks very much for joining us live from COP26, Julie.
You're welcome.